All right. I saw a clip of Ryan Day on Twitter the other day, and it was clearly a sit-down interview with Joel Klatt. And on the surface, just the clip that I saw, it looked like, I was going to do what most of y'all are doing right now in your mind as we are talking about Ryan Day. Georgia fan, listen to this. Oh, I bet Ryan Day was out here bitching again. I bet Ryan Day was out here bitching about targeting again. That soft Ryan Day. That wasn't what it was, man. That was not what it was. In the full interview, which I guarantee you most of you didn't watch, you'll notice that Joel Klatt asked Ryan Day a very loaded question. Okay, about 18 minutes in, Joel Klatt looks across and said, they're talking about how the sport of college football has changed and all this stuff's going on. And then he looks across and he says, this question right here, very, very loaded with intentions of getting the result that he ultimately got, but he had to drag it out of him. Listen to this. He says, what's the biggest rule change you'd like to see in the sport of college football? He tosses that grenade into the room, or that softball into the room, hoping that Ryan Day would address targeting. We know because of the clip that I am about to show you. Okay, instead of talking about targeting, when asked about the number one rule that he would change, Ryan Day doesn't talk about targeting. He talks about the damn hash marks and how he doesn't like how the college hashes are wide and how they should be as wide as the NFL hashes. Long story short, Ryan Day just wants to coach in the NFL. He wants everything like the NFL. He wants the playoff schedule like the NFL. He wants compensation like the NFL. He wants legislation like the NFL. He wants, everything to be. He wants the rule book just like the NFL. He wants everything like the NFL. But that was not the point. The point was he was asked, what would you change? And his immediate answer was hash marks. Why? Because he's a spread offensive coordinator, and he likes the idea of the ball pretty much staying in the middle of the field the entire time. You know why? Because he's got more field to work with on both sides. He's not pinned up on one hash a third of the time. You see? You follow me? That's all I'm talking about. That is what he wanted to change. He didn't mention a damn thing about targeting, so much so that Joel Klatt had to look at him and say this. Watch this. This comes via the Joel Klatt Show. I hope you don't take me down for it, buddy. I know what you were doing. You got your result. But I just want people to watch tonight to understand that Ryan Day was not out here just complaining about targeting. He was probed for this answer because they wanted this answer because they wanted the sensationalism. Here's the actual encounter between he and Joel Klatt that dug out the targeting clip that you've all seen on social media now.
I thought for sure we were about to get into targeting there.
Yeah, well, that's a little too soon.
Right.
Too soon on that one.
Understandable. I will ask you about that rule, the targeting rule. It's obviously achieved what I think the intent was, which was change the way that defenders defend and the strike zone. Everyone talked about that early.
Sure.
Now it's morphed, though.
Right.
It's morphed into a problem because it's tough to officiate. People don't really understand why calls are made, why they're overturned, why they're upheld, all of those different things. So, from a coach's standpoint, how frustrating is that call? And I know this is probably too soon. Not that specific call. I'm just saying the rule in general. And how would you go about trying to alleviate?
All right. First of all, talk about leading the witness. He didn't even want to talk about it. Again, as soon as he talks about, I thought that conversation was going to go into targeting, he laughs and says, probably a little bit too soon for that conversation. And then Joel Klatt continues, like his job is supposed to as a journalist, continues to harp on this idea of targeting and then goes to this elongated question about basically, what's your opinions on targeting and replay and all the role in it? And here's Brian Davis.
I think the first thing is it has to be common sense. I think that's your point. We're getting so much into the weeds on this that we've lost where we started on it. And what was the reason why we did this? To protect young men. Mm-hmm. And so, if someone's launching at somebody's head and they're unconscious on the ground, that's not what we want here. And so I think sometimes, we get into these slow motion things and we start to get so, caught up in the little details of everything. And it's not realistic sometimes watching it in slow motion. So I think there has to be some sort of a common sense. I think we have to still trust the referees on the field and what they see. They're there for a reason. And then if it's egregious, one way or the other.
Oh, my bad. Basically goes on to say if it's egregious one way or the other, then get back to the instant replay. And here's my deal. Okay, here's my thing. I don't blame Ryan Day for that interaction. I don't think that's Ryan Day bitching. Like Georgia fans will listen to that and they'll be like, damn, it's July. Why is Ryan Day still talking about targeting? Because he was probed to talk about targeting. And if you didn't watch the full interview, you probably didn't understand that. You probably didn't see that. And you probably want to just jump down Ryan Day's throat and call him soft. And I wanted to do it too, because the first time it was presented to me as Ryan Day's out here complaining about targeting in July. I think that's soft, but that's not what he was doing. He was complaining about hash marks and was forced to talk about targeting. So you see, the job of a college football coach is kind of to defend his people, defend his constituents, right? Particularly defend his constituents and at least go to bat for their feelings when, I don't know, a college football playoff berth and a college football national championship berth is kind of on the line, and they believe, right or indifferent or wrong, whatever, they believe that targeting penalty is the reason they didn't win a national title, not the missed field goal, not the sacrificing 2 14-point leads, not Kirby Smart calling a 4th down timeout and saving a fake kick that was on film. Not all that. They think this was the reason. So what's he supposed to do? Say, nah, I actually like it. I'm cool with the ruling. No, it's not what he's going to do. He's going to go out there and defend his program just like he's supposed to do. So just when you probably thought I was going to come on here and shit on Ryan Day, hey, kudos to Ryan Day. Ryan Day did what he was supposed to. Complained about hash marks. Ha, don't even want to talk about it. Oh, you're making me talk about it? Okay, I'll defend the position I had back in January. That's coaching PR 101 right there. Good job on that. Now, let's talk about the actual comments here about targeting in and of itself. Let's put aside the, oh, he's soft talking about targeting in July, because we already put that to debunk that. We don't care about that. Let's talk about his actual comments. The quote, common sense is what Ryan Day is asking for with regards to targeting, except, man, we really don't apply common sense to rules and laws. No. Rules and laws, for as long as they've been implemented, have been written down, accepted, then instituted for consistency. It's the whole freaking point of rules. Ever heard of the idea or the term not common sense is not common? You ever heard that? Common sense is not common. Not everyone has the same sense of commonality. That's not how this world works. If you don't have a Southern mama, you probably never heard that, but I bet you have. Common sense is not common. So no, we cannot leave things up to debate for common sense. The letter of the law on targeting is very, very clear. It's very simple nowadays, okay? Did the defender lead with the crown of his helmet? Yes or no? If he did, targeting, okay? If he did not, did the defender launch himself into the head or the neck of a defenseless receiver? If he did, targeting. If he did not, not targeting. It's very, very simple and letter of the law. It really is. And when you boil it down to something that simple, the only way to ensure 100% consistency to the letter of the law, which is the purpose of a rule, is to be implied to the letter of the rule, then you need the instant replay. Because like he said, it's happening really, really fast. Well, if we want to make sure the rules are implemented to the letter of the law, we better slow it down. And we better notice that Javon Ballard actually led with his shoulder, not the crown of his head. So the first box is not checked with regards to targeting. Oh, and by the way, did he make contact with the defenseless receiver's head or neck area? No, they both collided shoulders. It does not matter, per the letter of the law, if Marvin Harrison was then subsequently knocked out. That is not the purpose of the rule. The purpose of the rule is to be implemented to the letter of the rule. And the only way to do that at high speeds is to put it under instant replay. Do you know how I know this? You know how I know this? Because we tried. We tried. When targeting rules were first implemented in college football, there was no instant replay. And every coach in America hated it. They hated it. They thought guys were getting pulled for extended periods of the game. They were getting kicked out of football games for things that weren't actually targeting, that were left up to common sense on the football field. That was the first full year of the targeting rule being in college football. And then every single coach in America, not every, but majority of them looked at it and said, hey, man, we got this, slow motion stuff. Why don't we just put it out? We can do instant replay. We only have one rule. There's only one rule in college football, that if you have this penalty, you are impacted for the rest of the football game and maybe half of the next. There's one rule. And in my opinion, is it too much to ask for that one rule to be able to be instant replayed? To make sure we got it to the letter of the law? Isn't that the point? The point is to get these things right, not to leave it up to common sense. We tried leaving it up to common sense. You hated it. We had to get rid of it. That's so absurd to me that a man who has made his career out of the details is out here talking about leaving up college football debates to common sense. Hey, common sense says your alignment should be here. That's not how you coach your offense, Ryan. So why are we coaching the issues like this? You know what I mean? The law in your offensive playbook is the law. You line up in this spot. You run this route. If you don't, we evaluate it on tape. Why we got to apply something different to the rule book of the damn game? That's insane. That's insane to me. Oh, hey there. What you just watched was a portion of our live broadcast, Nothing But Rants, NBR, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. They're not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. If you want to join us live, we are live Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 9 p.m. here on the channel. Please subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. If you like it, there's probably more in one of these windows. We'll see you next time.